Last week on A Dream Called Meraai, we saw how our man Rocky began to weld our future motorhome's floor into place. And we had a brief history lesson on the origins of welding. So the welders were busy gooiing their stuff to make a weld, and they discovered a braai. This week we continue with the floor installation and we go shoe shopping for Meraai. Another week, another day closer to our dream of converting an old bus into a classy motorhome. However, sometimes our dreams get interrupted. Don't you just love leaf blowers? Don't know if you can see, but like over there, just before I start wanting to chat, this oak hauls out a leaf blower. Normally they start doing their thing on a Sunday morning at around about 6 o'clock, and I'm sure many of you are familiar with that. Can you imagine what would happen if Kim Jong-un let rip with a leaf blower under Donnie Trump's window? Week 16 and never been kissed, although this week Meraai does give Rocky a bit of a hickey. So keep watching to see what happens to the poor guy. There is one girl that no world leader should mess with. Let's not beat about the bush here. Meraai is a big girl. And we are not body shaming when we say that. She is a big, beautiful girl with attitude. Rocky has recently been bonding with Meraai, something one must do very carefully, because when Meraai loves, she loves hard.
Now it grounded here, and I wanted to move across the ground there, and my cable got caught here, so I was standing up on here, and I put my arm down like this to try and grab, and it was still hot, so she like kind of...
It's a lekker little love bite, eh?
You know, she bit me nicely.
If you really want to get Meraai's attention, buy her something nice. Let me put this out there right now. I love shopping. If I'm with Mariki and shopping and she's buying clothes and that, it's okay, I can handle it. But now I find myself shopping for a really set of cool pumps for Meraai. So we're going to find some sexy rubber to put on those 4 cute little feet. Bram told me which tire I should get. I found it on a website. There was a lot to choose from, but settled on one. Cleared it with Bram, he's happy with it, so boom. Here she is. This is what we have settled on. They're not cheap, as you can see, but we really do want good rubber. Because these are no cheap tackies, I had to do some homework. Before I make a decision, I have just Googled this tire and to see what the reviews are like, and they're pretty good. It is an all-terrain tire and well suited to all the road surfaces that we will probably come across in South Africa. With Meraai being given an extra 100 millimeters clearance, it means we can go with a pretty large tire. Bram and the guys from East Coast Scratch and Dent will have to do some alterations to the rims to accommodate Meraai's sexy new shoes. So I just chatted to the guys who I bought the tires from, and they have assured me they will be here on Monday. Today is Wednesday, so that's not bad. Obviously if they don't arrive on Monday, I'm going to be a bit bleak and I will set Meraai on them, because we all know Meraai can bite, and she can bite sore. Our high humidity and wet weather has seen some rust creeping back onto the unsealed sections of Meraai's floor. We have not seen Hendrik, aka Hunner, for a while. He is busy getting rid of all the new rust to prep the floor for sealing. It's been a couple of hours since I was here at East Coast Scratch and Dent, and you can see Hendrik has done a good job. All the flooring is now totally sealed, ready for the epoxy. And if it is epoxy, that means it is Quinton, the paint guy's turn again. Right, a little bit later in the afternoon, Quinton's about to start putting the layer of epoxy in. I wish I could film this and feel around, because it is hot. It's probably about 32 degrees, but we're talking hectic humidity, which pumps it up by about another 4 degrees. The boys are sweating, eh? They're sweating. I left East Coast Scratch and Dent and went off to contemplate my navel. The next morning I was back to see what progress had been made. It is Thursday. Thought I'd just come down and see how it was going with the epoxy coating, and not much is happening. You can see there's bits missing that haven't been covered yet, and it's because they still need to weld some of those plates into place, and Rocky is ill. It's these days, as soon as you hear somebody is ill, you immediately start thinking, oh geez, I hope that hasn't got COVID. But apparently it's not, and so yeah, we just have to wait for him to come back to work so that where they can weld it, so things slow down a tad. But just on the COVID note, really just keep safe. Where we live down here on the lower south coast, we've lost some incredible people. It's out there. We're seeing it firsthand, and yeah, it's horrible, man. Another episode that I must end on a sad note. COVID claimed the life of a wonderful animal crusader, Daylene Erasmus of the Lower South Coast SPCA. A selfless woman with a heart of gold. I did some voluntary promotional work for Daylene not long ago, as the COVID lockdown had caused all donations to the organization to dry up. The video I made is as apt now as it was then. In memory of Daylene, I humbly ask that you watch and act on the message in this short 2.5-minute video.
The nationwide lockdown will be enacted in terms of the Disaster Management Act.
On the 27th of March 2020, South Africa went into lockdown as a result of the coronavirus pandemic.
While this measure will have a considerable impact on people's livelihoods,
the pulse of our nation slowed to a weak flutter. The impact on our economy, devastating. Empty streets were void of all human life for weeks. Misinformation and rumors resulted in thousands of domestic animals and pets being dumped. Lives thrown away by ignorance. The heartbeat of the Lower South Coast branch of the SPCA grew weaker by the day as donor funds dried up. A few dedicated souls stayed to care for the animals forgotten by a terrified nation. A few dedicated people that kept the lifeblood flowing. Kept the heart beating. They spent day after day caring for the animals at the shelter with little or no resources. The Lower South Coast SPCA is in a dire situation. Unless their lifeblood in the form of donations begins to flow again, the NPO's heart will stop beating. It will die. You can help. You can resuscitate the SPCA on the South Coast. You can restore the pulse of this life-saving organization. You can give hope to those without a voice. You can save lives. The pulse in their pores can beat strongly with your help. Please donate now.